welcome back to the United Star. And as you can see, I'm at Old Trafford. But we have Prashant with us today to talk about what's recently happened. In fact, just 9 minutes ago, City have been cleared and they're allowed to play Champions League next season. It's a very big thing that's happened, and I just believe that now, from an FFP point of view, you can break whatever rule you want. Shivan and I, in fact, had this conversation over Twitter as well. So I'm first going to talk about this and let Prasham shed some light on it. Prasham, what's your take on the City's full FFP point of view and everything being overturned, fine still being there, but they're in Europe next season?
The FFP is a joke. It doesn't apply to any of the teams that matter. You've seen PSG, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Manchester City go out and do this time and again, time and again. They keep breaking the rules. That Neymar transfer. I mean, if you know the FFP guides and if you know all of that, you know that Neymar transfer is an absolute joke. It should not have never been allowed. And the way they flipped like money from outside the club and everything. So it's essentially become it's a laughing stock, right? And like Vishesh was saying before, like we had this conversation that there are going to be consequences on football of this. But at the end of the day, what lawyers have argued is precedents that when none of these teams were charged with any wrongdoing, how can suddenly City be charged with wrongdoing for something that's been going on for so long? So that's why the fine has stood, but the ban has been seemed to be excessive and has been taken out. So the legal perspective is that, but from a footballing perspective, we understand a lot more is going on out here, and the FFP really has no value.
I mean, if that's the argument, then I would say then any team could do that, right? Tomorrow, let's say United get that ban, a lawyer can say, but City didn't get it, or PSG didn't get it. Why are you giving it to me? So there's always a first time, and it's really saddening to see how money is overtaking the sport, and there are rules for it, but no one really wants to, uh, live by them. So let's just move ahead because, uh, I mean, United have still not played Bournemouth, but the way the table is shaping right now, both for the top four, with now fifth place not being a Champions League spot, and relegation is very interesting. With the likes of Leicester, who seemed comfortable when lockdown started, and I predicted them to finish third because of their convincing lead in front of Chelsea and United, are now, the fate's not in their hands, to be honest. So, what do you think the top four looks like?
So Vishesh, United are finishing in third place for sure. We said it in the video that we did before of our top four analysis, and we said that United will not drop a single game from here. Maybe we draw against Leicester at worst, but we will win all the other games. We will remain unbeaten. And looking at Leicester, and now the fact that even Soyuncu is going to be out, I think we will win that game as well. So Man United will finish third. We'll get all the points. We will finish third. Leicester is an interesting. Leicester is going to drop right out of the top four. Like obviously after the game against Bournemouth, which after the game against Southampton, which United will win, we will be in the third place, and Leicester then play Sheffield, Spurs, and Man United. The fixtures just don't get easier for them, and that's the key fixture for me: Sheffield versus Leicester, because Sheffield have suddenly found out that they can play football again, and it's quite impressive the way they've turned things around. And the table has gotten really interesting because Sheffield are just 1 point off Wolves and 5 points off Leicester. So if in my view, Leicester out of the next three games, there is 9 points. They will drop at least six of them, at least six, maybe even 8 points. They might not win any game going in from now. And it is very much possible that it might be even, I'm going a hyperbole and looking at the way Sheffield have come back, it might be even possible that Sheffield finished in sixth place and Leicester even dropped down to a seventh place. It might not be that improbable for me. The other team I see is Chelsea. Chelsea, I think, have a Norwich fixture in hand. So that fixture is going to really help them. They have a Norwich fixture and then they play Wolves and United. So again, that Wolves and Chelsea fixture is very key here. So I think the team that wins that fixture might actually have a chance to get a foot into sort of the top four, because
I just want
Chelsea.
to correct you. It's not United. They play Liverpool. So it's
Oh
Liverpool.
no, sorry. I meant Chelsea play United in the FA Cup, so they'll be
Oh,
fatigued when they
yeah.
play Liverpool. I feel that fatigue will be there. So I think I'm discounting the fact. I think they will not beat Liverpool. But then again, with this Chelsea team, you don't know. I see a draw. I don't see Liverpool beating Chelsea either. I see a scoring 2-all draw, and I think the Wolves and Chelsea game, that game, whoever wins will get the top four position in my view. Because if you look at Wolves' fixtures, it's quite striking because they have Burnley, Palace, and then they end at Chelsea. So you could say that they'll win at Burnley and Palace, even though Burnley are a hard team to win at. So I think it's getting very heated up, Vishesh. You can clearly see that apart from United now, suddenly Chelsea and Wolves and even Leicester, of course, I mean, they're yet there in the fourth position. So even Leicester, of course, all three of these teams are competing. And then beyond that, the Europa League spots are also heating up. Like yesterday, Spurs beat Arsenal, right? So suddenly it's wide open in that respect as well. Because if you look at it, Tottenham are at 52 points, Sheffield are at 54. So anything can go. Like if Spurs, if we know Mourinho can grind out results, if he's able to do that, suddenly we might see Spurs at seventh and Sheffield drop down as well. So it's a big mess. But what I feel is going to happen in the top half of the table: Manchester United third, Chelsea fourth, Wolves fifth, Sheffield sixth, and Leicester. I'm dropping them one more place off to seventh.
Yeah, that's very interesting because when we started off the season, the let's say post-COVID season, I did my predictions as well, and I had predicted Leicester third, United fourth, uh, Chelsea fifth, Wolves sixth, Sheffield seventh, Spurs eighth, and Arsenal ninth. And it's going that way, and it's just Chelsea and Leicester that have been swapped, right? But
Yeah.
I get a feeling that you're really on the spot. You've hit the nail when it comes to Leicester because with the fixtures they have, it's sad to see their downfall. And I think Wolves also has a tough run. But if Sheffield managed to get that win over Leicester, I think Sheffield has a better chance of finishing above Wolves because if Wolves still has Chelsea to play, and if it goes down to the last game, I think Chelsea will go all guns out, and I would put my money on Chelsea. But I think we both can say that United seem to be comfortable for third spot.
Uh, the third spot is the first and second spots, and as Norwich's position sealed, it is Manchester United's. There
Yeah.
is no debate.
So while we've got one hell of a game going on, in the top 10, I would say there's something really interesting in the bottom six as well. While Norwich may have already been relegated, position 19 to position 15 is just 6 points off. That's two games.
So Vishesh, I think Brighton is safe. I think
Okay.
Brighton will be safe. They will not have an issue. I think West Ham too, with their form and with their goal difference of -15, which is much better than both Watford, Bournemouth, and Aston Villa. It's better than all three of them. I think with their form and the fixtures they have, so I think they will be safe. Having said that, the win that Bournemouth got against Leicester and the win that Villa got against Palace has blown the bottom three wide open because I thought that Bournemouth and Villa are done. But the bottle that Bournemouth showed to come back and beat whatever Leicester might not be in form, they're yet a very good side. To come back and beat them the way they did with the temperament they showed, I was quite impressed. So West Ham and Watford are playing next now.
Yeah.
And I think that is the big game. So at least someone will drop points. Maybe both teams drop points. For Aston Villa and Bournemouth's sake, they'd be hoping that Watford are the one that drop points because Watford are have the weaker goal difference, and they also play City and Arsenal. So Watford are potentially going to lose all three of their next games. It is possible. It is very likely. If I was a betting man, that's what I would bet on, right? They're
Yeah.
playing West Ham, they're playing City, and they're playing Arsenal. So they might lose all three of them. The other thing to look at is that West Ham themselves are going to be playing Watford, and then they play Man United, and then they go to Villa. So that's the golden chance for Villa. If West Ham end up losing to Watford, they will lose to Man United. And if Aston Villa can beat them and win their other games, it is very much possible that they get out of the bottom three. But why I feel it's highly unlikely for Aston Villa to be able to do that because they too play Everton and Arsenal. Now these two also are not going to be easy fixtures by any means. So you see the bottom three while they are placed in a very it's a very heated contest. I feel that the problem they will have is the teams that they are facing. So Bournemouth plays Man City next. That game's a write-off. They are not going to win that, right? So they have to win both their next games and hope that Watford lose all their matches.
Yeah.
And I feel, in my personal opinion, Aston Villa are relegated. They cannot get out of this. But between Bournemouth and Watford, there is yet a chance because Watford genuinely stand to lose every single game they play now because of the form West Ham is in, and then they play United, and that's not a good fixture list for Watford.
I agree to a certain extent, but I've been going through the fixture list myself, and I've come to this realization that as you mentioned, West Ham are playing within the relegation zone, so it's for them to decide their fate. But another team that decides the relegation battle is Arsenal. I don't think if you've noticed this, but Arsenal are playing Liverpool next,
Watford?
but their last two fixtures are Villa and Watford.
Yeah.
So if they don't perform, then that opens the gates to a different conversation altogether. But let's say if today you have to come to a decision, are we seeing Villa going down? Are we seeing Bournemouth surviving this? How are we seeing things?
So I think Villa will go down. I think Villa is going to go down. I don't think they have it in them to be able to turn this around because again, like I said, the fixtures they have are just not something that you'd want as a Villa fan, right? Everton, Arsenal, West Ham, not something you'd want. West Ham are safe, I feel, because of their superior goal difference, the run they are on, and they're playing both Watford and Villa. So they probably will. And looking at the form Antonio and Suchek and all these people are in, they might win that. I think the battle is between Watford and Bournemouth. Because, like I said, I think Watford might lose all their three games. It's highly possible.
I,
And
I
Bournemouth,
honestly think that's the same when it comes to Bournemouth, because Bournemouth are playing City, Everton, and Southampton. Southampton are in excellent form, as we all know, and as United fans were worried about tonight as well. We're saying City is going to run them over, and if it's going to go down to the Everton game, I think Everton have the quality out there to beat Bournemouth. So I think we're going down to goal difference then.
maybe Vishesh, you're absolutely right. Maybe, but what I also want to factor in is the Eddie Howe sort of factor. I think Eddie Howe knows how to get results. This season has not gone his way. This is an aberration for Bournemouth. This has not been the norm, right? So I think Eddie Howe, out of all the managers in that race, is the only one who actually has been with this club for the longest in the Premier League, right? So he knows the players, he knows how to get results, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go out and beat Southampton and they got and beat Southampton and Everton both.
That's interesting because they are 3 points behind. It's not even like they're level with Watford. So I think the relegation battle is just getting interesting day by day, and things are heating up. It's just what I think another 13 days, and we'll know what the final results are like. So then again, let's just end this quickly. What's your third and fourth position, and who's qualifying for Europa according to you?
Third and fourth, as I said, United is a no debate. United is 100%. Fourth is Chelsea for me. I think they'll pull through. Europa, I think fifth will be Wolves, and I think sixth will be Sheffield, and seventh Leicester City.
And the relegation.
Relegation, as we all know, Norwich is already done, of course. Aston Villa is going down for me. And between Bournemouth and Watford, I think Bournemouth will go down, but I think it will be on goal difference.
Okay, so basically we're going down to the last day of the league.
Yes, yes.
So that's really interesting. But guys, once again, the initial reason for shooting this was definitely the results of this game week. But the major news that Manchester City will be in Europe next season. They won't win anything because they're not capable of doing that, and they are frauds. And Pep is a bald fraud. But other than that, City will qualify. So City and Liverpool are through to for qualifications for the Champions League. It's now all in United's hands, and hope for the best, guys. Let's hope that we'll be having Champions League in the stadium behind me rather than Europa next season.
Yeah.